Hey guys, Matt here with my anniversary special of video game history. I figured that I would do the Resident Evil franchise. So, to start off, Resident Evil began in 1996. It was created by Capcom and it wasn't the game that started the survival horror franchise. It more like, according to what I've heard anyways, it revived it pretty much. We probably wouldn't. Well, I can't necessarily say this with complete confidence, but we might not have games like Silent Hill or Dead Space today if Resident Evil didn't come along. Resident Evil in Japan is known as Biohazard, and I don't know why they changed it in America to Resident Evil. Can't imagine it'd be a translation error. Anyways, the first game didn't have much to it. Its graphics were pretty, I guess, average for the time. Its voice acting was just god awful, which a lot of people debate whether or not that was intentional, because to be honest, if I got me and my friends together, we could do a much better job voice acting, and none of us have taken a drama class. At least I don't think we have. And the gameplay could be unbelievably annoying with the predetermined camera angle bullshit. You know, you'd be walking down a hallway, but then out of nowhere, you're grappled by a zombie. You didn't see it. How is it your fault that you took that damage? It was unbelievably annoying. The story itself was also not much. It's very predictable, and yeah, it's just really predictable and not all that great. You know who the traitor is. You, pretty early on, you discover what happened, what caused the whole incident. Okay. I know in Zero, they add a little bit more of a story to it, but if you ask me, that was pretty pointless, because did any of us really ask? Did any of us think, maybe there's another reason why the Mansion incident started? No, we all just thought that it was an accident. I'm not gonna lie, Resident Evil Zero just seemed kind of like a pointless prequel. I've never played Zero, so I'm not going to really talk about it. I'm only going to talk about the games I've played and that are in the main continuity. So I'm not going to bring up like the Outbreak series or the Chronicles series or anything like that. Just the main series. Anyway, in Resident Evil, you get to choose between two characters, a male and female. There are some differences. Like, I think Chris is supposed to be a little faster and he can take a little more damage. Whereas Jill, you just want to play as because she's much better to play as. She might not be as fast, and she might not be able to take as much damage, but the fact she gets a lockpick and the grenade launcher and can get the shotgun with no problem, she has much, much better pluses than Chris. Playing as Chris just seems like if you're trying to be hardcore, it's like playing as Nikolai in the mercenary mode in Resident Evil Nemesis. There's really no point other than to be hardcore, or if you just want to be the male character. Oh, and Jill also gets two more item slots, whereas Chris only gets 6, which makes the backtracking even more annoying than it already was. Anyways, it starts off with, I know we've already done a review, but I'm just going to give like brief stories, okay? It starts off with Alpha Team looking for Bravo Team, who was sent to the Arklay Mountains to investigate grisly murders that have been occurring there, such as people being eaten alive and no one knowing how it happened. Although, how devoured were those people? Because shouldn't they have come back as zombies then? You never see the bodies. Anyways, pretty quickly, it depends on which one of the games you play. If you play the original game with the horrible voice acting, or if you play the new one, which everyone says is now like the canon version. I'm gonna go with the original because that's kind of what I'm doing. Bravo, actually, it doesn't really matter which one I choose. One way or another, it's going to be the same thing. Alpha Team finds Bravo's team helicopter crash and starts investigating. One of their members, named Joshua, either finds a hand or... I don't remember, does he find anything in the remake? It's been a while since I've played that. Okay, anyways. And immediately gets jumped by Cerberuses, which are zombie dogs. For some reason. And this just makes me question some things. In the original game, none of the teammates seem to be helping him. But in the remake, you do hear gunshots, but Jill isn't doing anything. She's just sitting there. Jesus Christ, woman, one of your friends is being eaten alive. Help him. Do you need a fucking juice box? It won't be the first time she does something like that either. Good God. No, it won't. So the team flees to a nearby mansion. And depending on who you're playing as, you'll lose a character. If you're playing as Jill, Chris will just disappear. If you're playing as Chris, Barry just disappears. Another thing about this game is that it is very difficult to know what is the canon scenario. Like, is it Jill or is it Chris? It would probably be Jill's, because at least then you know Barry lives, and Barry does make an appearance, unlike Rebecca after Resident Evil. Not counting the prequel. Although I kind of want to say it's Chris, because, well, one, he's on the fucking cover of the game. He's also, you also see him in the, like, main menu screen. And since his story is just harder, I just kind of figure that's how it should be. Okay. I'm sorry, I have to... Jason isn't here watching the camera, so I have to use a watch in order to tell how much time has gone by. It's only been like 6 minutes, so I've got plenty of time still. I'm sorry, I don't... Sorry about that. And once again, depending on who you're playing as, it'll be a little different. If you're playing as Chris, Wesker will just kind of send you by yourself to investigate a mysterious gun shop. And this brings up a question that I've never found an answer to. What happened to Chris's gun? I've heard some people claim that he, like, throws it away, but I never saw him do that in the cutscene. And believe me, I've seen the cutscene, those opening cutscenes, multiple times. I think I would have noticed by now, and there's no explanation. So Chris goes by himself, finds that Kenneth got killed by a zombie, would go back and figure out that Wesker and Jill are gone. If you're playing as Jill, Wesker will send Jill alone, but then Barry will volunteer to go with her, and he's like, okay, I'll just stay here. So you go, Barry starts investigating blood, and in the original game, it kind of looks like he's just like licking his fingers, wiping down the blood, and just licking the blood off his fingers. I don't know police procedure, and I don't know if that's normal, but I'll give Barry the benefit of the doubt. So you would go out, find Kenneth get killed by the zombie, and depending on the game you play, if it's the original or the remake, you'll run back into the room where Barry is, and Barry will shoot the zombie that apparently followed Jill, even though zombies aren't allowed to go through zones except in the remake, which was confusing as hell. Barry will kill it. However, in the remake, he'll shoot it, but as you're leaving, the zombie will get back up and go out the door, back into the hallway for some reason. And now here's something that kind of really pisses me off. Okay, maybe not pisses me off, but it's just hard to not notice. In gameplay, if you shoot anything that is not a boss with a magnum, it is dead. It is not getting back up. It is just gone. However, not only in the original game, but in the sequel, not the sequel, the remake, Barry shoots it twice, and that's how many times it takes to kill the zombie. Or maybe it's more. I want to say it's 2 times. He shoots the zombie twice, and then the head pops. However, when you're playing, the zombie head just pops when you shoot it. In the remake, he shoots it twice, and it goes down, when in reality, it would be dead with an instant hit and not be able to get back up. Let alone, I don't think the zombie would leave the room. I highly doubt the zombie was just thinking, oh, I don't want to fuck with that guy again. I don't think that's what a zombie would be thinking. Oh, and once you go back, Wesker is gone. And for some insane reason, Jill and Barry decide to split up. That would be my last plan of action. That would be like a last resort, to go around by myself. Would you? Okay, you could either bring a guy who not only you trust, not only you trust, but he is a damn good gun. Or you could go by yourself with a little handgun that takes about like maybe 5 to 10 shots to down a zombie. You a fucking idiot. And of course, Barry's voice acting in the original game is the stuff of fucking legend. Even this game was made in '96, like I said. Over a decade later, people are still saying Jill Sandwich. You will not be able to find a Resident Evil parody, like a parody series, in which they have not used the Jill Sandwich joke in some way, shape, or form. I can pretty much guarantee you that right now. Actually, yeah, Barry's lines are another good reason to play the original game, because they're just so awfully hilarious. I got 4 minutes left. Okay, just to let you all know, this will go into multiple parts. Like, it's going to be way more than just... I know there are, like, 7 or maybe 8 main storyline Resident Evil games, but I'm not going to do what we did with the God of War game, in which, 1, I get sidetracked as hell, and 2, in which it's not like how Jason just mentioned God of War 1, and that just took up the entirety of the first video. No, like, I'm going to do another video, but it's still going to be on the first Resident Evil game. I just want to get that out now. I should have said that at the beginning. I'm sorry. Still got 4 minutes. And there really isn't much to anything. Most of the game involves you wandering around the mansion, picking up things, putting them on other things, realizing that you can't do this without that thing, having to go find a key, when in reality, I'm pretty sure Chris could just bust down the fucking door. Jill too, for that matter. Why don't they bust down the door? I'm sorry. That always pisses me off. At least in Silent Hill, the main protagonists aren't like... I think I can buy it a little bit more with them because they're everyday people. But Chris and Jill are fucking cops. I'm pretty sure that on more than one occasion, they've had to bust open a door. Barry does it. Actually, in Resident Evil 3, a couple times, you see Jill bust through a locked door. A little consistency is all I'm asking for. It's not like the doors, or actually no, Jill does break through a door made of metal in 3, so why can't she do that in 1? It's not like she got any stronger from what I could guess. Oh man, I'm getting sidetracked. And as I was saying, there's not much to the gameplay. Like I said, it's putting things on things and putting other things on other things. A lot of people say with the nowadays Resident Evil games how there aren't any puzzles. I've actually seen more puzzles in those games than in the old ones, because I don't think putting an item in one area, like taking one item from another area and putting it in another area, I don't think that counts as a puzzle. It's something you do in pretty much every adventure game you would ever play. So I don't see how that's a puzzle. I mean, in 4, you have that ball thing you spin around that only takes like a second. Then there's that light thing that only takes about 30 seconds. I can't think of anything else. In 5, you've got that sun thing, where you have to reflect sunlight, and if you touch it, you die. That's a puzzle. That's like the deadliest puzzle in the entire game. Game series, anyways. And in 6, there aren't any puzzles. So it's more like the old games. Honestly, I'm not really sure what to say about Resident Evil anymore. Well, in the original game, they used full motion video. Full motion video at that time was pretty much like you would take live actors pretty much and put them into the game. However, you only saw these twice, at the beginning and ending of the game. So, what was the point? I'm just going to end this part right now. I'll get back to Resident Evil because I've only got like less than 30 seconds on me. Yeah, that's all I've really got for right now. I'll continue on with my Resident Evil history lesson in the next video.